Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. I thought I'd do a review video or start a series of videos reviewing a radio that I received in the post recently. Well, I've had it a couple of weeks, but I've just not had a chance to do anything with it yet. And it comes in the form of the Zastone A18, which is in this box here. So I was looking at the stats online for this radio, and it looked a decent radio. It said 5 watts or less. It's UHF. It's got 200 channels apparently, which we'll check shortly. And the specifications on it are really basic, and it's quite honest. It says, you know, range of 1 to 3 or 3 to 5 kilometers. You know, and I've always had good experiences with Zastone radios, and this isn't actually sponsored by Zastone, by the way. I'm doing this off my own back, but I've always had a good experience with Zastone, so this is why I decided to buy this radio. So it cost $26.99 off, I think I got it off eBay, or may have been AliExpress, and it came within a week. And just looking at the specs, it's just a nice simple UHF radio. One thing that did attract me to it is the hidden display on it. So when the radio is powered off, you can't see a display. When the radio is powered on, you get a blue display under the finish on the front of the radio, which I'll show you shortly. So that's what attracted me to this radio. So it doesn't actually have an LCD screen as such. It's got a display hidden underneath, a lot like some of the Motorola radios that are out there on the market at the moment. So yeah, that's what attracted me to this radio. So I'm going to do an unboxing and programming sort of demonstration in this video, and then we'll do the usual range test stuff and things like that. So I'll bring the camera closer in and we'll have a bit of a closer look at this radio. Okay, so this is the box it comes in, quite a generic sort of box, and there's some specs underneath there which you can see. It's got the model number, the power of 5 watts, and the frequency range of 400 to 480 megahertz. So we'll have a look inside the box and see what's in here. So you've got a manual there, and that's all written in Chinese. Oh no, it's Chinese and English, which isn't too bad. So you've got both options there, but not going to bother with radios, with the manuals for these radios, never do anyway. Got a belt clip and a screw in there. We've got a wrist strap. We've got one of those little Chinese plug adapters there, which converts it from, I'm not sure what it converts it to, there's all sorts of things in there, to a UK plug. We've got the power adapter there, which actually looks reasonable. It's an AC/DC adapter, and it outputs 12 volts. So there's the adapter, nothing too special there. We've got the antenna here, which is looks like quite a solid antenna, 400 to 480 there, UHF. We've got the charger base unit here, which looks okay. There's holes in the back there to let heat out. I'm hoping it doesn't generate that much heat, but yeah, that looks okay. Some other bits, I don't know why they send those verification things there. And we've got the radio, you can see there, which is nice. You can just about make out the display underneath. And then we've got the battery here, which is 7.4 volt 1500 milliamp hour lithium ion battery. So pretty basic stuff in there, what you'd really expect, to be honest. I'm going to move a lot of this stuff out of the way, and we'll just focus on these bits and pieces here. Okay, so we'll have a quick look around the radio as we put it together. So you've got the radio body itself there, you've got the battery, which just slides into place like that, and there's a catch underneath to undo that, and the antenna just screws in on the top. Pretty straightforward on this one, guys. The only thing that is a bit of a pain with all these radios is getting the belt clip on. So you've got a couple of screws which go into the clip there. They're just so fiddly to do. That was hard work. Right, so yeah, don't try and put the belt clip in with the battery in, because otherwise it'll seat like that and the holes don't line up. So if you leave the battery off and let the belt clip sit into the bottom of the radio, you can get the screws in a little bit easier. So yeah, that took about 5 minutes, but belt clip is on. So yeah, reasonably solid belt clip as well. Quite happy with that. So yeah, we've got the radio all put together there. So if we switch it on, it takes a second to come on, and you can see the display lights up. You'll notice it's flashing. That's just an effect on the camera. That won't actually flash on the radio when you if you were to buy it. So yeah, and you can see the display quite well. They got channel 6. You've got a signal meter and transmit meter on the top there. You've got H, which stands for high power, and the knob on the top there changes your channel like so, and the knob to the right there turns the volume up and down, as you can see. So yeah, quite nice. I'm happy with that display. It does look bright. I hope the camera shows it up. It's a good bright display. So yeah, exactly what I was looking for, and very, very similar to the Motorola models. Buttons on the side, we've got, well, I don't know what these do yet because I've not programmed it. Right, so that switches between high and low power, and the button here opens a squelch. We've got high and low power and squelch. PTT on the side, rubberized PT, nice and big. You know, really good feel to that. I'm not going to keep too much. I don't know what's programmed in here yet. On this side, we've got a rubber seal there, which houses the speaker mic port and programming cable port. Battery contacts on the back. On the top, we've got, as I say, the channel select knob and the volume and on-off switch, and a little LED there to indicate transmit and receive, and that's rubberized as well. So yeah, nice feel to this radio. It's solid, it's heavy, good weight to it. It doesn't feel like your Bofeng BF888S or similar models. It's you know, it's sturdy, solid, no creaking to it, and that display there is solid as a rock. It looks like a plastic cover that's sort of sealed over it. So yeah, I'm really happy with it. So what we'll do is we'll leave this bit here. We'll get the laptop in and we'll program this radio up and have a look around the programming software for this radio. Okay guys, so this is the programming software for this radio. I think it's a piece of test software. I actually had to email the seller to send me this software. So if you do buy this radio, you'll struggle to find the software online at the moment, so, or at the time of filming this video. So email the seller or the manufacturer, which is Zastone, and they'll send it to you. As I say, it is a piece of test software. There's a lot of functions in here that don't actually apply to this radio. So for that reason, I'm going to do a very, very basic programming overview on this radio. And I'm not going to touch on anything that doesn't apply to the radio, really, because it would just end up too long. I've already tried doing it, recording it, and it took like 20 minutes. So I'm not going to bore you by going through every single detail in the software. I'm just going to go through the basics really. So you may have issues getting it to read the radio. Just play around with the programming cable, unplug in, plugging in, and trying again. Check your COM ports, and you will eventually get it to read. So it's a standard Bofeng type programming cable that this uses with the Kenwood style plug. So that just plugs into the radio on the speaker port side and plugs into the laptop via USB. So when you've done that, if you click read, again checking everything's okay, your COM port is there. So just check the correct COM port on there, click read, and it will read from the radio. There's nothing in the radio because I wiped it trying to figure out getting it to program. So we've got a blank spreadsheet in front of us. So you can see here, if we click on model type, we've got radio, obviously. Frequency, just select your model, so it's 400 to 480. Code there is basically setting a password for programming, which I'm not going to bother with. Restore default settings basically sends the radio back to factory settings. Auto input doesn't have any relevance, and delete group channel doesn't have any relevance either. So what we'll do here is we'll just program a repeater in and a simplex channel in. So for the repeater, we want to start on the RX frequency, which is the repeater's output. So I'll put that in like so. Transmit frequency is the input, so we'll just put that in. We don't want to decode our signal or any signal, we just want to encode. So we'll put the CTCSS in like that of 82.5. Power will keep to high, we'll keep the transmission to wide. Scan, you can add or remove the channel from the scan group. So if we delete it, it won't appear when the radio is scanning. If we add it, it will stay in. BCL is busy channel lockout. So basically, if that repeater is in use, if we activate this, we can't transmit while the radio is receiving. Vox, that enables voice activated transmission on that channel, which we're not going to do. Random doesn't actually do anything from what I've had a look at playing around with this. Channel name, doesn't matter what you put in there. You can put alpha tags in there, so GB3MR for example, but no matter what you put in there, it will just appear as a number on the screen of the radio. And PTTID is a DTMF combination that is sent before, after, or at both times of a transmission. The settings further along the menu are all settings around the PTTID, but I'm not going to go into all that. There's plenty of information online regarding that. A simplex channel, really simple, as easy as that. You just put your RX and TX frequencies the same. You can use a CT/CSS if you want to. Power will keep the same, and all other settings will just keep the same. And you'll see the channel name is channel 2, and all that will appear on the radio is 02, so you don't need to change anything in there. So that is 2 channels programmed into the radio. Second menu there is the function parameters 1, which has all sorts of stuff in there. So timeout timer, a timeout alert, the voice of the radio, which is Chinese, English, or off. A power on tone, which is a little tone that comes on when you turn the radio on. Squelch level, key lock mode, so you can lock the keys so they can't be pressed. Mic gain volume, I'm just going to leave to full. Channel work mode, it doesn't matter what you put in here, because whether it's frequency or channel, it just goes off the channel number. And you've got all sorts of other functions in here, guys. I'm not going to go through all this in detail, because there's just no point. You can show your channel name there. You've got the Roger beep, which is so you've got the button beep, and then you've got the TXN tone, which is a Roger beep, which we're going to leave off. You've got Vox settings here, scan settings, battery and battery save settings, really simple stuff. You've got function parameter menu number 2, which is basically assigning the short and long press functions to each side key. So what you can do here is side key 1, if you press it for a short amount of time, it'll turn the squelch off. If you press it for a long amount of time, it will scan, for example. Side key number 2, again, you can set that to turn Vox on, and you can use it to turn the volume up or down. So it's really, really simple stuff, and you can select how long those buttons are pressed for. Radio here, leave that because that doesn't have any relevance at all. Embed message, you can leave that because it doesn't have any relevance at all. Alarm setting doesn't have any relevance here either. And first and second channel, again, doesn't have any relevance. And power on set doesn't do anything either. So it's really, really sort of ropey software at the moment. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't apply to this radio. DTMF is basically the stuff you get in Bofeng radios, so you can set your DTMF codes to transmit, which I never bother with anyway. But basically, what that does on certain channels, you can set different DTMF tones, and that will dial the DTMF tone for ID. And that is continued in your 2-tone list here. Again, guys, I'm not going to run into much detail on all that. I'm just basically showing you how easy this radio is to program. When you've set everything you want to put in, you just click on write. That'll open up the communicate box here, and you just click on write, and that will write whatever you've put in the software into the radio. And it's as simple as that. Okay guys, so hope you enjoyed that. I didn't want to bore you too much with the programming side of things. It's pretty straightforward, and I think the best thing to do is just wait for some better software to come out. But this is a great radio. I'm happy with it. It receives well. The transmit audio sounds really well, as you'll see in the range test video. And yeah, it's definitely worth the money. It's pretty cheap, and for a 5-watt radio that's as solid as this, I think it's definitely a good addition to the shack. So if you have any comments, questions, anything like that, then drop me a comment in the box below. If you have any queries on the programming, just drop me a comment. Anything that, because obviously the video was quite brief on programming, so anything that you want me to explain or cover from the programming side of things, just drop me a comment in the box below and I'm more than happy to do that or explain anything like that to you. So yeah, we'll leave that one there. I've got the repeater and range test coming up on this in the next week or so stay tuned for that. Drop us a comment in the box below, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and drop us a thumbs up as well. Keeps us motivated to do what we do on this channel. And I'll leave that one there. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. 7-3 for now. Guys, if you haven't already, then check out my second channel. It's Ringway Manchester 2. The link is in the description. It's a similar channel to this one. It covers a lot of the same stuff, but it's sort of a B-roll style channel. So if you like what you see on here, you're going to like what you see on there. So head over to Ringway Manchester 2 and hit the subscribe button. The main content for this channel will come on here, but there'll be sort of other little bits and pieces going on to Ringway Manchester 2 as well. So be sure to check that out. The link's in the description.